Greetings and blessed Lammas to you. Um, oh my, well, I was just sitting here doing a little project for Lammas because I have to tell you, we have 100% humidity here today. It is very, very hot. I mean, very humid. Um, Not usually so. We're not used to it in California. We're not really accustomed to high humidity, and except when we have the marine layer at night. In the morning it's a little higher, but it's never like this. And we do not get rain normally. We had a little bit of rain, little teaser of rain this afternoon. You might have seen, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you might have seen that. Very, very unusual. But some of the foothills got quite a bit of rain, so that's really, actually really lovely. Kind of different. Anyway, I know a lot of you were waiting for me to do a Lammas video, because normally at Lammas I am harvesting stuff from my garden, and this year I have to say our garden is good. Our garden is doing really well, but we really don't have a big surplus like normally. Some of the things are a little later coming in. The tomatoes are steady, but not a huge crop. Beans we're able to keep up with pretty well, and zucchini, squash, just as, kind of an average year. Not cucumbers. The cucumbers, some of the volunteer cucumbers are still doing pretty good, but some of my other ones have died out because we had a really unseasonably warm early summer, so we don't have quite the harvest that I normally have at this time, like I did last year. I was harvesting, stuff coming out of my ears last year. I think I'm going to have some crops this year, a little bit later. We'll see with the other harvest. But anyway, I thought, well, it's not really that necessary, to vegetables from the garden is not the only thing we can harvest at Lammas, and I think I've said that in the past before. Today on Facebook I issued a challenge. It was actually borrowed from a friend of mine who, I think hers was in a response to a lot of the negativity that's still going on Facebook, political posts that sort of bother her. Probably I'm guilty of some of those, but she thought, oh, there's so much negativity, can we have some, with August, can we have some positivity? So I borrowed the idea from her, and I started a my 31 days of joy. What gives me joy? And if you follow me on Building the Crone on Facebook, you'll see my posts. I started today with day 1, and I thought this is really, really an appropriate thing, because we can harvest joy. We can harvest happiness from our life. It's not just squash that we can harvest. Okay. So anyway, I don't have my normal activity for Lammas is not really here this year. But another thing I'm doing this little activity that I thought maybe you would like. Remember, I don't know how long ago, I showed you how to make dream catchers, and I started this one. This was one that I used a thick thread to show you how to do it. It was a little easier to show you with this thick thread and an old tambourine that I had. And I have one that I did, and I finished it with feathers in more of a traditional way, and it's hanging above my prosperity altar in the office. But this one I said I was going to do a little different. And as you can see, I have started it. And what I have used are old buttons. Old buttons. I don't know if you're a button collector. I don't think you are a button collector, but when I was a little girl, every woman, my grandmother, every mother, every aunt had saved buttons, cut buttons, and had button jars, had a button tin, had a whatever. And I just have come across some of these old buttons left over from my mother or my grandmother or my mother-in-law or whoever. I think some of them I also got maybe at garage sales, because I think I was thinking I would be going to use them for something. And I did for a while. I made some button dolls a while ago out of them, and I've used them for certain things. And if you've seen my puppets, you see that I use the two buttons with the two holes, 2-hole buttons. I use those as a face for my poppets that I filled with the daughter. But this I have jars and jars of buttons, and I do not like to throw things away. I'm not one to want to add things to the landfill. But I want to tell you, these are some ugly ass buttons. If you wanted to be thrifty and use these when you were sewing your clothes or mending your clothes, you'd be hard pressed some of these to find any of these buttons that you would really want to use. And they're very old fashioned. They're very cheap, most of them very cheap plastic. But at the same time, again, I said I don't want to put them in the landfill. So I came up with the idea of putting them on my dream catcher. This is the dream catcher that's going to go outside. So I'm just going to show you real quickly how I'm doing it. It's very simple. And not that I think that you want to do a dream catcher like this with buttons, but in case you want to put button strings on anything, I just took a long thread and I doubled it. This is doubled over. So I have a loop here, and I'm going to just put the loop around the tambourine base and then put the ends through it so that I have it's just attached there with a little hitch there. And then I'm going to lay this out, and I'm actually going to sew. I don't think you can see very well, but I can tell you what I'm doing. It's so simple. It's actually sort of kind of making a running stitch with these threads. You see I have 2 ends. And all of my buttons that I have chosen either have 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, or they have 2 holes, 1, 2 holes. So those that have 4 holes, I'm going to choose holes that are diagonal each other rather than holding it straight this way. It's going to be diagonal. And of course then I have the 2 buttonholes, or just the 2 buttonholes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the strings, doesn't matter which one, that I start with, up through the hole on one button. Okay. And the hole opposite it, in this case there's 4 holes, so it's the one diagonal. I'm going to take the other string and I'm going to go down through that hole. So one comes up from the back and the hole opposite one goes in from the top. Okay? And then I just kind of lay that kind of straight up against my tambourine. And then I separate the threads, try to keep everything straight. And if I have to do it on my table so it lays flat, I hope you can after I get a couple more, it's really much easier. So what I had done earlier, I had just laid out my buttons. I picked out, I don't know, random amount of buttons. It's not even the same amount. Just a line of buttons because I don't want things to come out exactly the same. And I laid them out generally from the largest button down to the smaller on each string, but not exactly that evenly tapered because that looks sort of artificial. It's just generally the biggest at the top and then tapering to the smallest. Okay, so anyway, I go back, I go to the neck, and I laid that out ahead of time, so I just sort of had random buttons how I like the string. It doesn't matter because they're all, like I said, pretty ugly buttons. So the last button, the first button I put on, the string ended up coming up to this side, so I'm going to go down the top on this button and I'm going to come up the back. On this one, up from the back. If that makes sense. I really can't, and I apologize, I can't see too well. I've got my camera turned around, so I should be able to see what you're seeing. But, oh my, there's something in the air today because of the, I don't know what's up. And it's, my eyes are kind of failing me here a little bit. You know, I feel like I have pollen or something in my eyes. I don't know what it is. So something. Anyway, I'll hold this up a little bit later so you can possibly see what I'm doing. But it's going to end up that it's going to look like a running stitch coming down these buttons. It is going to go over one button and under a button and over and under on one side of the button. And on the other side of the same button, it's going to go under, over, under. It's just going to be reversed. And then it sort of holds them in place. But it's, again, it's not a big... In the beginning, when I can't have it laying down flat, is when I tend to get it tangled. There. This one on this side. Okay. So that I can try to keep that thread, each thread running straight down the line of the button. Okay, so the last button I went down from the top, then I'm going to go up from the bottom. I will say, when we're talking about llamas, that we're still, you know, very much, it's a really wonderful time, even though we don't have a lot of things to, maybe to can. I mean, I do have some things canned. I canned some peppers yesterday, and I'm not sure what else. I don't think what else I did. But it's really, you know, it's a wonderful time because we're really, I think everybody, even people who do not garden, more people are eating food that is in season right now, so we all kind of feel, you know, that connection to the earth. Okay, one of the things I wanted to say about this while I'm working on this is the thought that I had about why was this an appropriate activity for llamas. Well, remember, Lammas is all about, it's the first harvest, and it's all about, when we're talking about harvesting, remember I told you in the past that by the end of the harvest seasons, the Celtic people had to have everything removed from their garden. I mean, from their crops, all the field things, anything left over, they would burn. A lot of beliefs about that, but anyway, from the very beginnings of time, people were aware of the fact that in order to get a new crop the next year, it was necessary that the old crop die. Goes to seed, the old things, you know, your lettuce crop or whatever that you planted only lasts so long, and then it throws off seed, it goes to seed, starts to dry up, flowers. The seeds then are formed, and then the plant dies. The seeds again are what we take for the next year, right? For the next season, we save them for another season. I really like the idea about the buttons because, you know, in buttons, that was really what was happening, you know, in the old days. You know, historically with buttons and button jars, you know. There was a great sentiment about, you know, not being wasteful, being frugal, fixing what had torn, fixing your torn things rather than getting new. You fix them. Even people who had money, you know, were very, you know, their things were off to be mended or had their servants mended or whatever. It wasn't that throwaway society that we have today. I think what has happened, though, with some of these buttons, as they got cheaper and cheaper, these cheaper plastic buttons, who wants to keep the buttons? I mean, let's be honest, they're not very nice. But the whole idea of taking these buttons, I could very easily, you know, take these buttons and throw them in my trash. And if I threw them in the trash, where would they end up? They're not compostable. They're not gonna, they won't break down my compost. They won't enrich my soil. They won't do anything, but they're going to sit in the landfill, these plastic buttons. So taking these buttons and using them for some new purpose is sort of keeping them out of the landfill. But it is taking something that is no longer useful, kind of like a dead plant, and repurposing it, making something new out of it. Now I realize that, you know, kind of limited what we can do with it. But buttons is only an example. Buttons is only one example of things that you can take. Everything that I try to use, you know, I talk about this all the time, everything that I use, I look around and see what I have, and look around and say, for what purpose can that be used for? And particularly the older I get, I try to be a little more mindful of using things that I have, because I think it gets out really. I don't think it's just important to be frugal. I don't necessarily mean you have to be frugal, but also it gives out the vibe of being mindful of your environment, which is such an important thing. I think the whole very feeling of wasting things, of throwing things away, that's really lost on me. I can't stand it. Like if you do any kind of recycling of aluminum cans or plastic bottles or whatever, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you walk past a trash can, a public trash can, and see those kind of things in the trash, I just cringe. I cringe when I see it. But anyway, taking something old and repurposing it and making it for a new purpose is really a very, very magical activity. I think it's a very magical activity. So I find this really kind of a cool thing to do for Lammas. Now, I'm almost done. I only have 4 more buttons to go, and then I'm going to show you. I also thought I had these old bells, which I thought were totally cool, and I had 3, and I wanted to do 4 strings, so I put some other bells on the other one, because I really like things that don't match. Now, why even bother with this dream catcher? I think we sort of talked about that in the last video, the one when I made it, but when I was making it for the prosperity altar. Remember, the whole traditional idea of a dream catcher is all the thoughts, all of the intentions that are out there floating around. There are both good and bad intentions. And the dream catcher, and the web of the dream catcher catches the good thoughts, and they go down. If they're like the ribbons hanging from a traditional dream catcher, or if the others hanging down, they go down the strings. You hang that over somebody sleeping at night, particularly a child, and all the positive intentions go down the strings and bless that child that's sleeping, keeping the bad dreams away, keeping harm away. All the negative things are caught in the web, caught in that web inside the dream catcher. Okay, well, I'm going to put this dream catcher outside. I'm not going to be sleeping. So what is the purpose of my dream catcher? Does that even make sense that I'm doing that? Well, yes, I think it does very much, because it's also going to catch energies for me, isn't it? It's going to the breezes that go past it, breezes that go through it. It is my intention that the positive, the good vibes that go through are caught, travel down the strings to whoever is below, to whoever sits below. So that's my intention. And remember, we said last time, intention is really that's really the basic. All there is the intention. That's what really, really counts. Okay, I only have these 2 buttons, and I really apologize again if you can't see. I have my camera so far away. And I hope you can hear me, because I also have a fan on, because, man, I am suffering in this humidity. I feel guilty. I feel guilty because it seems like we in California complain more about the weather than anybody. And we kind of have the nicest weather. But it's that we just aren't used to it. We don't know how to handle it. We don't have, like I told you before, in the winter, we don't have houses that will handle the cold weather when we get it, or the damp weather. I don't have any air conditioning. My house gets hot. So I depend on my fans. Okay, so this one went down through, now it's going to come up through, and that's the end of my buttons. And then I'm just going to go back here on my buttons, and I'm going to make sure that they're sort of straight, and they're all in position good on the string. and I see that one's wrong, so I gotta pull them off. I went up through the back on one button, on both. This side should have come down through, and I went up from the back on both holes. So, always check. I had some, while I'm doing this, while I'm finishing up, I have one more thing I want to talk to you about, but before I get to that, I wanted to say that I've had some requests, a few requests for some different kind of subjects for videos, and I want to say I really welcome your suggestions anytime that you want to, did you like me to do some videos? I had a few people say they really like the cooking videos and wish that we do more. We will do more of those. We had fun doing that, and we do usually really cook a lot together. This week we're kind of preparing for a big party that we're having this weekend, so most of the cooking that we're doing this weekend is pre-cooking for the party. We're going to be making something like 100 tamales on Friday. So, and if it were just my husband and I would be happy to share that, but it's really going to be some other friends are going to be helping, and I don't know how much they want to be on a video or not. But anyway, I'm going to be doing some more cooking. I'll do some more of those. I'm going to go back and I'm going to revisit some more of my tarot videos. That I started. Some of those little exercises that I was doing with the tarot. I'll start to do some more of those, and more how-to things. I really think that a lot of people miss the how-to things. I always like to watch them. I like to see what people are making or doing, or even if something that I wouldn't want to make myself, I enjoy to watch other people doing their ideas. So I know a lot of you are the same. Okay, that was the last button. Again, making sure that I have them all strung properly. And I do, so I'm going to just take and do an overhand out at the bottom just to hold it. Wait, something smells so good. I hope that's my husband cooking me dinner. And then I'm going to put through this bell. I love these old bells. I just love bells. I have bells everywhere. I just have always loved bells. When I was a teenager, we used to wear bells all over us. I had rings that were bells, and I had earrings that were bells, and I kind of miss it. I had a little purse, my little pouch. You know, my little pouch that I carry my tarot cards in when I go places has little bells on it. That's left over from when I was a teenager. So some of these bells I've had for a long time. Okay, I'm just doing a real quick knot on here. And then, I don't know how good of a video this was for me to show. I always finish things with a little bow at the bottom and then knot the bow. That's just my thing. I don't know why. So, do that. I'd love to hear about what you did for Lammas, if anything, you know. Lammas is a reminder that fall is coming, but it's not here yet. And I know a lot of people are really getting into Samhain, and because I know some of the stores have started putting out their Halloween things, and that always gets the witches really excited when the Halloween stuff comes out. And I understand that, but I just want everybody to remember that it is still, right now actually, it is still lit though. Until today, it became Lammas, and it will be Lammas until what? Mabon, at the fall autumn equinox. And then it will be Mabon for quite a while before it gets to be Samhain. So we're really rushing it a little bit. Okay, I got it. There we go. I mentioned the only other tool that you need for this, if you're going to do it, is I just have a big needle here. I didn't need it this time. But anyway, there's my dream catcher. And I just put 4 little things. Kinda, I don't know if you can see. Kinda funky, isn't it? Kinda funky. Let me move this up. See, my buttons kind of fell down. Wait, let me put that. Okay. Here we are. There we are. Kind of cool, huh? And my little bells at the bottom. So I'll show you when I hang it, I'll show you where I put it. Okay, I have one thing to talk to you about. One more thing to talk to you about, and then I'll let you go. Oh, I wanted to show you. When I was looking at all the buttons, oh, I came across this string. It's just all black buttons. A big string of them. All different kinds. Oh my, it kind of got me excited. I don't know why. Seems to me that there should be really some special thing to do with these black buttons. If you have any ideas, I'd love you to leave me a little idea in the comments, because it might be something fun to do with the black. I didn't put any of the black ones in the dream catcher. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm starting, if you're following me on Bird in the Crown, wait, excuse me 1 minute. I'm reminding you that I have a blog, both a blog and a Facebook page by the same name, Bird and the Crone. If you follow me on Facebook, on my own page, that you might see, I sometimes share things on that page, but you can just search for it on Facebook, Bird and the Crone. I'd love for you to follow me there, because I like to share things, particularly from my post, Bird and the Crone, birdandthecrone.com. That's a blog that I have that I also list things that I sell for my cupboard. Not too many things on there yet, but I'm adding things. I'm going to be adding a lot more in the future. And I have information there about my tarot readings, etc. But I have a blog, which is, I just put little posts from now and then. But one of the things I've decided to do is I'm going to visit, I guess I would say visit, the Wildwood Tarot. Now remember, I did a couple videos a little while back on this tarot deck that I've had for a long time, and I just stuck it away, not really caring about it too much. And all of a sudden, some reason I got it out to share some things for one of the videos not too long ago, and I started looking at these cards, and I thought, I really started to resonate with these cards. And I've been a hoi polloi. I love my hoi polloi. I've had them forever. And I just really am very, very, it was a hard sell to get me out of that deck for any other reading. And I know people want other decks. They want more than one deck when you're a reader. You have to, you have to have a variety. You have to give people a choice sometimes. And so this Wildwood Tarot, I looked in again, and I just fell in love with it. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But I just thought it was fantastic. And especially one of the things I particularly liked about it is some of the cards in the hoi polloi deck, which is really a knockoff, remember, on the Rider-Waite deck, same imagery, that I do not resonate with very well, that I always just feel a little about. Oh, the corresponding card in this deck, I find that I can really identify with. I really like it. So I'm going to do a little journey. I'm going to do a little journey, which is what we tell you all the time, when you're getting ready to, when you're starting to read tarot, getting used to trying to learn tarot, that everybody always recommends that you start to do 3-card draws. Don't try to do anything bigger than a 3-card draw. And I'm going to do that for myself. I'm going to take and do some 3-card draws, like every week or so. I'm going to do not every day, but like maybe once a week, and beginning of the week, put 3 cards out and live with those cards and see what the energies are, and maybe then post a couple of days later or whatever, what kind of energies that I felt with those cards, what they did for me, well, how I saw those, how I met those energies during the course of my week or several days or whatever it is. So it's going to be on that birdofthecrone.com, that blog under tarot. It will say the Wildwood or Journey Through the Wildwood, that you could read posts on it there. I will share those as well on my Bird in the Crone Facebook page, so you can see it there if you don't want to one place or the other. If you're interested, it's not really going to be I'm not putting up a glossary of what these cards mean necessarily. If you want to find out what the cards mean, you can get the deck yourself, or you can go to other places on the internet and maybe find some of the traditional meanings for each card. This is going to be really my own journey through it, and I'm doing it and sharing it with you because I think it might help you in your journey through some of the decks that you like. Maybe not mine, maybe not this one, but maybe some of the other ones that you're really having trouble either resonating with, or maybe you're just new to tarot and this is a really good, if I tell you to do it, I should be willing to do it myself. So that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, that's it for today. Sorry it was a little long. I just thought it'd be interesting. I didn't want Lammas to go past without me saying, sending you my blessings and telling you what's up with me here at the first of the 3 harvests. Okay, so anyway, I'd love to know what you're up to. I'd love to, if you have any videos on any of the thing that I have, please post the links on, and I'll try to catch your videos and see. And again, if you have any ideas or any requests for some other videos you'd like me to do, please just leave your comments down below. Okay, thank you. Again, thank you very much for coming to my channel. I'm Rebecca the Good Wife, and I wish you blessings.